It all happened like I knew it would. A single drop of source magic. And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned. I was shackled and collared. And sent to Fort Joy. I'd come here to kill Godwoken. But instead, I became part of their story.
Wow. That looked fun.
So, still a bit groggy, are we? Don't worry. The sedative will wear off soon enough. Easy now. No need to hurry. Get your bearings and report to me upstairs.
So, welcome back. Welcome to the first episode of Divinity Original Sin 2. Now, I've made some changes to my character before we start.
It wasn't a dream after all.
Originally, I planned to go as a bog standard ranger. But after a little bit of thinking and everything, I decided to go for something a bit more experimental. So, if I just open my character menu, which is nowadays to sneak. Right. One moment, I've just got to... Here we are. It's actually in the inventory as well. We are playing as Halif, a elven blood wizard. So if we have a look at her combat abilities, she has a point in pyrokinetic and a point in necromancy. Now all I've really done is I've just customised the standard wizard preset that you get at the start of the when you do your character creation. Haven't changed anything else really except for one skill that you get, which is instead of getting the one moment, geomancer spell, I put a necromancer spell on. That's really the only key differences. Oh, and I have changed the tag, so now I'm a mystic and a scholar instead of a noble and a soldier, because I wanted it to fit in with the character a bit more. So yeah, this is Halif. As you can see, I've also changed how she looks a little bit, but you know, it's one of those things. Right, so the starting area, the hold of the ship. Simple enough really, this section of the game. It's basically a tutorial. If you go through this door over here, it actually leads to a quick introduction into how the game plays. So like, it'll teach you how to move items in the game. So for instance, if I click and drag like that, I can move an item. Teaches you how to interact with things as well.
Freight or food?
If you've got the pet pal ability, this is the first chance you get to speak to an animal. I mean, it's not so much, it doesn't show you as much as you'd think. A lot of it you do have to just practice yourself, like moving the items, and that it doesn't really explain that. But that could also be down to the fact I might have tooltips off, I'm not sure. I cannot remember for the life of me. So, pretty simple puzzle here. Grab that. Bow onto that switch. Crate onto that switch. Now, you can only throw them so far unless you've got telekinesis. If you have telekinesis, then you can throw them a lot further, depending on your level. So, if we just go out here. Oil. Now, what oil does is it slows you down. You cannot defend against it. It goes for your magic armor. There is a unique spell that you can create using, I believe it's polymorph and geomancer, that allows you to absorb oil into your physical armor. But that is literally the only way I can think of, apart from blowing it up with fire, that you can get around it. So you can see I'm slowed, and when you're slowed, it costs more. You can... What's the best way of putting it? You require more AP to move a further distance, kind of thing. So your movement speeds drop, so you move a shorter distance for the amount of AP compared to how you would normally. Right. Now, I can't do anything here.
Is my shift over? Oh, wait, you're no Magister. You're a sorcerer. What are you doing here, filthy elf? One more step, and it will be your last. A collet sauce.
So, I don't have any persuasion on this character, so I can't really do any sort of convincing. Right. So, what do we have? Flee combat, delay your turn. Can't remember if that's in the PS4 version, which is what me and Lewis have been playing today, actually. But your basic skills, if you haven't got a weapon, you'll go up and just slap them or kick them. Much easier on a PC because you've got key bindings for a lot of your stuff. So I can press 2 and then select him. There we go. And then I'm going to conserve my AP. Got my turn again. So this time we shall
The prisoner's eyes
take him
meet
out like that.
yours. He speaks not with gratitude, but with gleeful malevolence.
Yes, because he's an arse.
Ah, freedom tastes better than wine. And I can set you free in return. Say your prayers while you've breath to speak them, lass. The halls await.
Yeah. So yeah, there's no way he'll join you. It's basically another party combat. Nope, not a very good way to shaft combat, but oh well. So he's burning and bleeding, and now he's
What
dead.
do you have to gain by killing me? Strange forces are at work.
Let's get the key. Now, let's get that electric discharge as well. That would be useful. Yes, I do believe I've got tooltips turned off, so let me just quickly check. Gameplay. Auto saves. Yes. So because I've already done it, it turns off the tutorial normally. So yes, it will show you through the game how to do it. Now this part shows you how to either lockpick or just use a key to go through a door, which we saw earlier. Lockpicking is only useful if you've got thieving as a like civil. But undead do get thieving. No, they do get the ability to use their bony fingers to unlock doors. Still need the thieving to meet the requirements, but you don't have to use lockpicks, which is very useful. So let's move this candle here, as poison is flammable, so it makes things go boom. Let's just wait for that to finish burning. And
Not the
through
most
it goes.
elegant solution, was it?
Cannot remember what voice I chose for. I think it might have been Trickster. But that's it for the
And I'm
tutorial.
back where I started. Nowhere to go but up.
There's no XP gain. You get some gold or whatever depending on your Lucky Charm civil. And that's about it. Now, if you can hear that in the background, you can hear the Bansuri. And it's little parts like this where you'll hear that instrument being played depending on what you've chosen. And again, like I say, in the battles as well, sometimes at the end of a fight, once you've won, you'll hear a kind of outro. But that's about it, really. You don't really notice it any other
Why,
time.
you're looking a bit more chipper. Yes. Looks like that collar fits you snugly enough. Nice bit of work, if I do say so myself.
Now, we've got to talk to her before we
Not
can
too
get out.
tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest. And he's the you'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters.
Now, there's not much like I say, you can do here. You can, this is where the roleplay comes in with your tags. And there's more tags you can get as well as the ones you've selected. You get them along the line. And your pre-made characters that you can also select, like Ifan, Sabil, Elosa, Red Prince, so on and so forth. They get specific tags when they speak to certain people in certain situations. Especially when it's to do with quests and stuff like that. For this, we'll go for Scholar.
Why? Because we're at sea, of course, and
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
I do love the narration in this as well, especially the actual narrator himself.
my word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh, well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy.
Spoiler, there is no joy involved.
A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good girl, perhaps a cure as well. An end to Source. For good.
Yeah. So, onwards.
Good gods! There's been a murder here.
So yes, this is a part where being an elf will come in handy. You can eat the flesh off this body, and it will teach you a new skill, which I will show a bit later on, as it's a bit awkward to do it now.
That's enough now.
So we've got the main hold where all the pre-made characters and some other NPCs are kept. And I've been deciding who to go with for this. And I'm thinking Losa.
Oh, there you are. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle of not at all brat-like babes that I am by no accounts this Losa woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical.
Yes, so we'll be taking Losa, who's one of my favourite pre-made characters, as well as Beast, who we'll also be taking. And I've just got to think of a third one, and to be honest, I'm leaning towards the Red Prince. Trying to keep the party varied. One human, one elf, one dwarf, and one lizard. I usually take Thane a lot as well, because I do like taking Thane. It is good to have an undead, like an undead thief, like I was explaining earlier, but for this, I'm not too bothered about it.
How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny?
Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away from her with a laugh.
Yeah, okay, you found me out. Go on and git, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready.
She turns to you,
Right.
dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly.
Gotta keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? You presume right. Nope, trying not to find anything out either. Ignorance is bliss. The utterer, the better. Thanks, but I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. You take care, though.
Suddenly, her eyes cloud to an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as they came, the clouds clear. She smiles as though no change came over her.
Good luck, Chief.
Yeah, so she's an interesting character. Beast is down here, and the Red Prince is just
A
behind
broad
him.
dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, Ghetto. You hear that?
Sorry, 1 second. I'm just altering the audio a little bit. And the what I'm using to record.
The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And? Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums.
Again, this is why he's one of my favourites. I do love his lines and his humour.
But there's more. Listen close. There now, just like that. Squeak!
Again, the narrator.
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, kiddo. Good news. It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for, yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Ah, so you've eyes as well as ears, eh? You'll go far, mate, even here. Yeah, no indeed, kiddo. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His arm...
That'll be all, thank ye kindly, kiddo.
It was one of
There
them.
we go.
I know it.
Would you put
And finally, Red Prince.
Well, what have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
Yes, the Red Prince is quite an uptight arse.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you... music to my beleaguered stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic. A bag is as good as a shirt. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep? The very basics, then. So, 3 questions. As per your own testimony, you can cook and still. Beggars can't be choosers. So without further ado, I offer you my sincerest congratulations. Of course you accept. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment.
Yes, again, he's quite an interesting character.
Here's the register, you faring okay so far?
Just skip ahead in this because it's a bit of a dull part.
I'm glad to hear it. You head on in now.
Right. Ooh. Before I forget, and before when I stop bleeding clicking out the window, that would be helpful.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure
There's a
you
door
you
over
shut
here.
up?
Also, actually, before I carry on talking,
Mad?
bedrolls.
Insufferable?
Bedrolls are used for resting and healing.
I'll tell you if
They regain your health. I think they reset your cooldown, but they can't be used in combat. You go over there, grab the key, and in we go. Now, food in this game, I don't rely on. Not unless I am stupid enough to let myself fall low on health potions or poison if I'm playing undead.
Nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Right. Ooh, hat. So, this is a form of armour. Not much physical armour, but it'll be useful for this part.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the
I
Magister's
should really have a
concern
quick
and
check
more
around the rest of the ship, see what I can find.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about...
I do love that line. Right. Yes, like I say, try and search everything on the ship if you can. Because you can get some nice early level armor, which will help out, especially if you're playing on tactician.
They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part
Awesome
where I
gold.
reassure you and you shut up?
Right.
Those bolts trained on her, and if she
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
Uh-oh.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because...
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
By the way, I'm using the keyboard to select options. So if you'd like me to read out my choices, then say in the comments and I can do.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwalker will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
Now, bearing in mind, this is the woman that's caused all this crap in the first place, so we already know she's a bit of a psycho.
What's happened?
Right. So, she's caused more chaos on the ship. How lovely. So, let's go get our weapons. Ah, yes, there is a staff. When I was speaking with Lewis about it earlier, I was saying about I'll be using a staff for this character. Sometimes it doesn't give you the weapon you want to start with. So, sometimes it's hit and miss. But as you can see, a lot of the Magisters, well, all the Magisters are dead. Except for Scylla, who you can't do anything with for the moment. So let's toy crossbow. Can sell that. Right, so here, bottom left corner. Elves can eat limbs, and it's gone. And it basically restores health as well as giving a skill. So this skill will give adrenaline. So if I eat that.
As the dead man's flesh slides down your throat, you feel his consciousness enter yours. His memories are yours to experience. You are Finn. Your heart is heavy. You know too much. It's all too much. You met him. A bright light blinds you, then fades. You feel a tremendous power in your hands, but they are shaking so hard you can barely use them. Suddenly you're on this very ship, crouched in a corner, hugging your knees. A figure approaches, an older woman. Her eyes are kind. She comes closer. She says she wants to talk. She reaches a hand toward you. You grasp it. The memories end. You are no longer Finn. You return to yourself with a jolt.
So, long story short, the psychopath basically killed Finn as well. I mean, that was mentioned in the confrontation just. Now, I cannot use this skill as of the moment because I do not have a point in Scoundrel. But what that skill does, basically, it gives you an extra 2 AP points at the cost of 2 AP points on your next turn. So say you start with 4 AP, you use Adrenaline, you get 6 AP. On the start of your next turn, you only have 2 AP. Right.
Damn, that doesn't bode well.
Well,
Onwards
behind
and
this door.
upwards.
See if I can pick it. Sometimes it doesn't let you. There we go. So behind this door, there's 2 Magisters over there.
Thank the gods.
I believe I just saw some armour in there before I got pulled into conversation.
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer!
So,
Like you don't know? Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too?
now, even though I said earlier I do not have points in Persuasion, the way the Persuasion works on this game is if you've got a tag to do with an attribute, every 2 points of that attribute add to, I believe it's 1 point of that Persuasion. So even though I haven't got any Persuasion civics, or civil, I don't know why I keep calling them civics, I've still got bloody Stellaris stuck in my head. Because I haven't got any Persuasion civil, but I've still got intelligence at 12, that will give me 1 point of Persuasion when it comes to an intelligence roll. It's a bit of a weird one. I had to look it up to try and understand how it worked, because sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I believe that's how it goes.
Go on then. Find a place to hide and stay there.
Right. Now, if you look at their names, these two are actually an Easter egg to a film. I believe it's Lethal Weapon. Yes, I did see a shirt. Well, I'm not too worried about... I've really got to stop clicking off game. It's the only fun with this. Right. So, let's put the shirt on.
Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
Yes, Owl's clothing is very weird in this game. It's almost like just leaves covering specific areas and so on and so forth. Hello. Humans is your standard humans. Lizard has a kind of Arab, Persian look to it. And the dwarfs is just very typical of a dwarf's uniform outfit.
Great gods! Something's
So this Magister over here, Magister Priest Medwin, she has a key on her which will open this door. And beyond this door is a colourless substance called Death Fog. As you can see there, Death Fog barrel. And the thing with Death Fog is, let's just turn that down just a second because I've got it too high. The thing with Death Fog is it will kill you instantly unless you're undead. No ifs, no buffs. If that, it doesn't matter how buffed you are, how high your health is. If you step into Death Fog, you're dead. The only things you can do are, there's a ability called Bubble Shield or something. Similar to like a diving helmet, and it lets you walk through. And it's a similar skill that they used in Knights of the Old Republic 2 as a story skill, where you have to go into a specific place. But yeah, so that's that. And here we are. The first fight with the Voidwalker. Join. Now, because I've got Faro Man on, my abilities can go further. So, if I just do this, normally, so my ability goes to 15 meters. Normally, my ability will end where the centre of that circle is, on 13 meters. So, as you can see, that extra 2 meters can make all the difference, especially if you're trying to escape. Or if you need to get hit a fleeing target or something like that. So, let's just try and follow into it. Yeah. Now these Voidwalker, didn't mean to do that. I didn't even know there was a ladder there. Learn something every day. Now these Voidwalker aren't a problem at this level, on this difficulty. But on Tactician they can be a right nightmare. Now I'm not going to go up there to have a look, but if you throw those water barrels onto fire, it will extinguish the fire. And she has a unique wand, I think. Right. Now this is one of the ways you can get off the ship. Kind of like the easy way if you don't want to do the next part. Honestly, I've only ever done it once. Doesn't bode well with your companions, so just don't feel like you abandoned them. So we'll go through. So we're back where we started. But if we go through here.
Get yourself off the ladder. There's a wait, Voidwalker.
There we go. So fight time. Now then, sorry about that. Had to click off for a moment. So, in this fight, you've got the AI to help you. You've got the AI companions, which does help. So hit them. I don't think I'm going to hit him because the magic can be a bit finicky in this. But is because that only uses 1 AP. There we go.
These beardless bugs would sink the ship on my watch.
I thought Voidwalker was supposed to be
Now the AI do have the ability to hit each other as well.
Let the games begin.
Like last time I tried to record this, I think it was the Red Prince threw a grenade and almost killed Losa. So, and it can happen, they can kill each other by accident, and that does severely hamper who you can have in the rest of the game. So, let's make our way this way.
I hear something. It's Magister Siwan, the one who put on this damn collar.
So let's go to her.
She tries to speak,
Now you can
only
either
break
help
as she
her
clutches
or
her neck,
kill her.
trying to stem
Leave
the
her to
bleeding
die
or
or
gushing
kill her yourself.
wound.
It doesn't, you know, it doesn't
With
differentiate
jagged
between
movements,
leaving and
she
killing her.
raises her clenched fist and holds
the
out
same
a length
result,
of cloth,
really.
soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture.
I'm going to
Blood
try and
quickly
save her.
soaks through the cloth. Magister
I'm
Siwan's
not
mouth
a,
opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror.
Murder hobo. I don't go around killing everything for the experience. I'm not interested in that.
It's
We'll hold
working.
the cloth
The
tighter.
pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm. Something within the ship snaps. Siwan struggles to her feet. Clean.
But basically, whatever you do here doesn't matter. Save her, kill her, leave her to die, escape on the rowboat, or even just walk up the stairs. It doesn't make a difference. You'll still get the encounter.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwalker. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Orivan.
So yes, that's it for the tutorial basically. There's still little bits and pieces as you go through the first act, which goes into little extra details, but all in all that's your tutorial over and done with. And you wake up here.
Made short bloody work of the ship. Am I the lone survivor? It seems something wanted me alive.
I'm sure, I'm not 100%, but I'm sure that's an Irish accent, because the 4 accents you can get in the game are all based off the UK. I know you've definitely got an English and a Welsh one, and I'm sure there's a Scottish one, but this does sound very Irish, but I can never work out which is which when I first start. But that's it really, and that dialogue that your character says when waking up on the beach here changes depending if you're playing solo or on multiplayer, and how many people you're playing with. But yeah, that's about it really for this episode. Just getting the tutorial out of the way and just giving you an idea of how the game works really. So next time we will be looking more into Fort Joy and some of the surrounding areas. We won't cover all of it because Fort Joy is quite a large map. I mean, it's not even the largest map. It's quite expansive there. But for now, that's it for the moment, and we shall continue this soon, hopefully. Bye bye.